What's going on, everyone? This is Champ from 2GG, and this will be the second 2G guide. This one focusing on how to find setups for events. So, setups is, I want to say, very important. Without a setup, you can't play Smash, can't play anything, because there's nothing to play on. So, most of the time, most people will only have one setups. Some people might not even have a setup. They go to a friend's house to play it. Or some people might have more than one setups. But most of the time, you're only gonna have one. So when you go to events, you're gonna need all these setups. There's 100 people, 50 people, 1,000 people, 10 people. You need setups. So how can you get them? Alright, so here's my recommendation on how to get setups. Option 1 is from the community itself. So as I said before, if you're going to an event or you're hosting an event, chances are they have a setup. And with that being the case, you can ask them to bring it. So you can provide incentives to these smashers who are kind enough to help out. You can say they get a venue fee discount, they get a free entry, get a raffle tickets, get free matches with one of your PR players. Just any kind of incentive that just encourage them to bring it, and let them know that you appreciate them doing that, because as I said before, it doesn't matter how good you are as a TO, it doesn't matter how bad you are as a TO, you can't run anything if you don't have setups. So the community is definitely what I suggest, and especially for your weeklies, for your locals, that's probably the best option to do it. Now when you're hosting a national event with 5 to 1,000 people and so forth, and people are flying from all around the world, you obviously can't borrow setups from the community alone, because they either just don't have enough, or you don't want to rely on the community to bring the setups. Because what happens if you have 2,000 people at your event and only 10 of those 2,000 people brought a setup? So now you have 10 setups for 2,000 people, and that's a bad idea. That's a bad time. You'll probably show up on Reddit and Twitter and all that stuff instantly. So definitely don't take that risk. So the second option is to contact vendors that provide equipment. One notable one is obviously Gaming Generations. They provide supplies for so many people. Evo, CEO, all the big house, all the major events. I'm pretty sure they do. So that's definitely someone an organization you can contact, so that you have guaranteed setups for your giant event. Now, let's say, so those are the two options that I would recommend. The third option is more brute force-ish. And when I say brute force, it's kind of a last resort or long-term planning and so forth, which is to actually just buy all the setups. So if you need 64 setups and you have the budget for it, you can just buy 64 setups of your own. 64 Wii U, 64 games, 64 adapter, 64 full DLC content per system. And that's gonna cost a decent amount, but if you're doing this long term, it's worth it. Or if you only need 5 setups for your local, then it's also worth it, because it's only feels like the cost is sizable when you buy a lot, but when you don't buy too much, it doesn't feel as bad. So you can do that. You can buy refurbished, you can buy new. All that stuff work, especially with the fact that the Nintendo Switch is coming out in March. If there's no delay, of course, then you can buy, maybe even more at a discount price. Heck, Black Friday is coming up, so they might actually be looking into getting rid of all the Wii U's in preparation for the Switch. So, you know, start looking at the ads and all that stuff and see. So yeah, that's my 3 recommendation on how to get setups for events. And setups are very important. The more setups you have, the better. For friendlies, for tournament, for anything. So if you can get setups, that's great. The second thing that I want to mention is, beside the Wii U itself, you need monitors. Because without the monitors, you have nothing to look at, to play on. Of course, the gamepad is an option, but I would not really recommend that as a way to play high-level profile matches or event matches. So what are my recommendations? I would say the Evo monitor are obviously the go-to one, the Asus VH236 Edge. I know they moved on to newer models now because those are discontinued. There's also BenQ monitors and so forth. But I'm not an expertise in it, so I'm going to redirect you to a place that actually dedicate themselves to finding the best monitors for competitive gaming, which is displaylag.com. And they just literally, all they do is they just run tests on monitors and finding the best monitor to play with the lowest latency. If it's 10 or lower, that's great. If it's 50 milliseconds or whatever, that's questionable. So definitely check out displaylag.com. They have all the monitors. Usually they range from 150 to 300. So just depend on which one you want, which one you need. And yeah. So that's about wrap up today's 2G guy. Leave a comment on what I should discuss next, and I'll definitely read it, reply to anything. If you want me to talk about how to get melee setups, which is a lot more trickier, I'm more than glad to. So if you want me to, just leave a comment. Otherwise, thank you for everything. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all in the next 2G guy. So signing out. Later everyone.